Hello, everyone, and welcome to Gamersledge. I am, of course, one of your hosts, Mark, and this week the word is CyberPunk. And joining us today, of course, is Matt. Hi, Matt.
Howdy.
And you have to talk longer than that. Remember.
I thought I howdied long enough that it's
And
time.
also joining us is Dave. Hi, Dave.
Hello,
It's a
Mark.
sloth working at a DMV.
and then it
How
switched to Matt. So that's great. Thank you. No,
are
you're done. You're cut off.
you?
And
Oh,
and
okay.
then also and also joining us, a rarity tonight, it's Daniel. Hi, Daniel.
Hey guys, I'm here mostly for the Cyberpunk, because we've got that Cyberpunk Red live play podcast, role playing stuff coming up, as well as the Cyberpunk 2077 just came out. Hi.
Yep. Hi. So we have so much news to talk about tonight. It is almost intimidating. We're going to start though, as we have been doing since the beginning of time. Go around the room, talk about what we've been playing and what we've been up to, which is probably going to take us into cyberpunk discussion. So I'll save Dan for last. So we'll start with Matt. Matt, what have you been up to this last week?
Uh, most
Besides not cyberpunk because Best Buy sucks.
yeah, I
Oh,
still don't know what happened with that, but yeah, so I don't get my copy till next week. But so I've been still been playing Bloodstained. What's the main one, Dave? Curse of the Night. Is that what
Um,
it's called? Whatever the main one is, not Curse of the Moon, the other one, whatever it is, something of the night or some, not Symphony of the Night, that's Castlevania. But anyway,
yeah, it's
yeah,
violin of the cosmos or something. I don't know.
something like that.
It's
Yeah. So anyway, the main one. I think I'm getting close. I'm about 18, 19 hours in. I think I'm getting down to the point where I'm not sure where to go next, and I accept where the boss is, and I know that's not where to go because I did that just out of fun, knowing it would be wrong, and it was. Um, so doing that. Really, that's about it. Because I finished Spider-Man a while back. Miles Morales, I got the platinum on that. Um, Platinum Bug Snacks a while back. And I was gonna start Tomb Raider 3, but I haven't done that for a couple different reasons. So really, that's been most of my gaming. A little bit of Fortnite with Mark. And I don't even think we've played Baldur's Gate in a hot minute. So um, that's really been about it for the playing. I haven't had a ton of time. I finished off a few TV series. I finished Evil, which stars Luke Cage because I can never remember his actual name. Um, and then I finished Away, which is sadly not getting a season two because honestly, I think that was actually a really good show. I know it's got its detractors, but I I thought that was a really good show. Anyway, I finished off Promise Neverland season one, which is an anime. I finished off something else that's escaping my brain at the moment. And then I started because Sony bought Crunchyroll. The next day, the original Mobile Suit Gundam showed up on Funimation.
wow.
So I started the original Mobile Suit Gundam because I've never actually seen the series stem to stern. Um, so started that out, and man, that theme song is terrible. Oh my gosh, yes, this is very much a '70s show. Um, but yeah, so that's pretty much it on the watching front. A couple weeks behind on comics again. I let that happen, so nothing new there. I did start the third book of the Expanse series. Um, this is where the show and the books kind of start diverging a bit. The book starts out a little slow, so it's been a bit hard getting into it and getting it going, which was not the case with the other two. So taking a little bit more to get sucked into that and keep going. Um, Other than that, I've been playing Fix the Toilet and doing a lot of work. Yeah.
All right. Dave, how about you?
Oh,
Okay.
and we watched the live action Mulan. That was the other thing I was thinking of, which is actually a really good kung fu movie, believe it or not. So I'd recommend it. Sorry, Dave. Your turn.
Hey, no problem. Obviously, I've been playing the most important, biggest release of the year, Sackboy: A Big Adventure. I love that game. I love that world. I know it's probably, a complete waste of the PS5, although apparently it only runs well on the PS5 and the PS4 version sucks anyway. So it's, like
That seems to be the case going around for most things.
I was ready to say, I don't think that's the only big release that has that issue this week.
Astrobot?
'Cause Astrobot's not even. on
Tell
the
me you
PS4.
watched the PlayStation Girl thing, the link I sent you.
I didn't yet.
Oh
I'm
my
sorry.
god, it's so good. You've got to.
I know. I will. I enjoy those. Those are one of the funny things you actually send us, and I appreciate that. So I will definitely be. I'll definitely be watching that. I just got caught up in. So I'm kind of like I'm caught up on Mandalorian. I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning on Fridays to watch Mandalorian. What are you shaking your head for?
Because Matt thoroughly yelled at me. So did Daniel. Like I got it from both directions this week because I'm still on episode 1 of this season, and going through the Twitter stuff.
How?
I got
How?
spoiled.
How?
I wouldn't say you got spoiled if you're like 7 weeks behind.
Yeah, that's like intentionally ignorant.
It's
Hey, if you lasted 7 weeks, that's way longer than I could ever last with an episode of Game of Thrones. If I lasted 7 minutes without getting spoiled on that, that was pretty impressive. So,
That's true.
And it's pretty much. I mean, this episode was like Game of Thrones. I thought I was watching Game of Thrones this week.
It was extremely well written.
It was very well written and very well acted.
So good.
This
Best
episode
star,
was
this episode.
Naomi. We watched it with breakfast, and Naomi was saying, and I'm not spoiling anything, Mark.
Yeah.
Just that this episode, a lot of the character development that they had was choice, top
Oh,
shelf,
Yeah.
top shelf.
And I love the guest star of this episode.
Yep.
As it was, I was happy to see the return of this
of
character.
that person. Yeah.
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 And
I really got. I didn't really care for the character the first time he showed up, but this time.
yeah, I mean, I liked it when he showed up the first time just because I liked the person.
Yeah.
So like, I was just, giddy over that. I'm like, oh yeah, he's getting a fun little cameo. But then this time was like, wow. And I saw him in another movie recently where he did dramatic acting and it was really good. Like he's actually really good as an actor too.
Did you catch who wrote this episode? I didn't catch it.
Yeah, it was somebody I meant to look up because I didn't recognize the name
Okay.
off the top of my head, but it was damn good.
It wasn't Favreau.
No. Yeah, this show is it's so good. How many more episodes do we have? I haven't looked that up yet.
One. We have one more episode.
Yeah.
Mother, not enough. That's not enough. I was not ready to hear that.
It's 16 for the season, right?
Yeah.
It's eight per season, but they've been listing them from episode
okay.
1.
Got it.
So it'll be 16 when they're all done, episodes altogether.
Because I saw they labeled it on their Twitter as 15 had just dropped, and so I was like, did they double it or how did that?
I think they list them as chapters
Yes,
instead of episodes, and
That's
so
correct.
what they're doing is they're doing a full chapter load.
Oh, God. I
watched
wasn't prepared.
I watch it right before the podcast too, so it's all very fresh in my head.
Oh wow, you got to be just like buzzing right now.
I know you're down about it ending, but it's not like we have long to wait for all the other stuff that we're going to cover.
Right. And they've already said that season 3 is going to be Christmas next year. So they already have a date for it. But let's go back to what else you've played.
Yeah.
Oh yes. So, I've been kind of like digging through Sackboy, and I kind of play that slow because like I really like dig through it, and also like I played some Mario Kart with my son. He, kind of got into that a little bit, and I tried to show no mercy, and then like one time he legit just like slaughtered me in one. I just did not know what the hell happened there. So I was like kind of proud in the moment, and then got real scared for a second, thinking like, wow, I thought I had another 2 years of dominance. But then I, quickly took it back. So he just got lucky one round. So that's good. He also, he's, back on Mario Odyssey again. He just loves that game. So I'm looking, to play Spider-Man, but I haven't really got into that yet. Still, I still play a little Animal Crossing every day. And I added something new to the family. I
Yeah.
couldn't help it.
Is that one of the ones that they list for like $75 that has nothing but emulators?
No, this is actually an Evercade. Which, if you haven't heard about this one, this is it goes old school but licensed cartridges. So it's a whole little concept thing. But what kind of sold me on it is they have 2 cartridges of Link's collection, Atari Link's collection. So I kind of got suckered into that.
Congratulations? Question mark.
No, all right.
Yeah.
The cool thing is it's a cool for what it is. It actually it's well built.
And what does it run?
Games. I just told you.
What does it cost?
Oh, it was like I think it was like $80 for like.
That's not bad. How
Yeah,
long
yeah.
Is it like rechargeable batteries or is it USB or?
Rechargeable battery is built into it. Seems to last a while. It hasn't, even ticked down a notch yet on it.
256
only
colors.
run its normal cartridges, or does it run native other cartridges too?
No, it just runs its own proprietary, cartridges. It's all licensed stuff. The collections are interesting. Like there's an Atari collection, there's a Namco collection, like kind of stuff you'd expect. The Atari collection has a series of like 2,600 games, 7,800 games. There's like 2 of the Atari collections, but then there's like odd stuff like a Technos collection, which has like the original like Double Dragon games and River City Ransom and that series of games. I have a one that was a pack in was the what Interplay. They did Earthworm Jim. There's like an Interplay collection that has like a bunch of stuff. It has like Battle Chess and Earthworm Jim and stuff like that on it.
And what do the cartridges run?
The cartridges run like $15-$20.
That's not terrible.
For a collection. It's not, again, it's not like seriously like awful. The Lynx collection is kind of what sold me because it was just kind of like, oh, that's neat. I love the Lynx. I should support that.
Said only Dave ever.
Yes, exactly. And so, I kind of just, part of my, portable museum of stuff.
Yep.
So I just thought that was interesting. And so it was in that and catching up on shows. I'm 1 episode away from finishing Clone Wars finally. And that show was also ridiculous.
Especially that last season.
That last season, that second to last episode, which is why we're starting late, because I was like 5 minutes away from finishing that and I'm like, dude, I need to finish this. I'm not stopping now. Was really intense. And I hate myself for this, but the Clone Wars cartoon series, especially like the last couple seasons, are so good that I find myself going, oh, you know something? Prequels, I don't hate them as much.
It's actually an interesting thing because they allow you to see them through a different lens.
Yes.
To appreciate certain aspects of those movies. They're still not great, but they definitely allow you to understand maybe where the writer's directions were or where kind of the boat was heading before it crashed and killed everyone.
Yeah, where it's kind of like, hey, why weren't these guys running with the new prequels? That would have been, totally awesome.
And
But,
then when the
you know,
boat did crash and kill everyone, the last thing you hear is no.
yeah, that's fun.
Misa make you laugh.
Ugh. That's one
I
thing I
still
am
can't
worried
hate Jar
about.
Jar. I don't know. It's just me, I know, but I
It
can't
is
hate
just
Jar
you.
Jar.
1,000%
Yeah,
just you.
well, no, I mean, I know people that actually defend him, and it's just like my big fear, especially, and you're not to jump ahead or anything, that they're going to do something that legitimizes him at some point.
Well, he
Just as
kind
a
of is legitimized in Clone Wars too.
He
ish.
needs to be a
Ish.
Sith Lord.
So yes, and that conspiracy theory is actually a really
Yeah,
interesting conspiracy
it is a
theory.
very interesting
But
conspiracy
Yeah.
theory.
the fact that Star Wars hasn't had a book about him, or had
Yeah.
like him as a main character, leads me to believe that they won't, in theory, do that. There's plenty
Yeah.
of other side characters and background characters that they could write for, that are just as ridiculous. So we'll see.
Yeah, when they did the 1,000 comic books where every banal character in existence got their own comic a couple of years back, and they didn't give him one, that pretty much tells you they've abandoned the character.
I'm waiting because, well, you know how like you know how it like became like the in thing for like comic book writers to dig up some like old obscure ridiculous
Definitely the
concept
thing right
from,
now. Yeah.
yeah. So like I'm waiting for somebody to like do a redemption thing for Jar Jar, and I have a feeling that's going to be like the next wave.
I think if they had a comic book called Jar Jar or something, and it leads you off with kind of retelling his story and how he was a Sith Lord hiding behind the scenes the whole time,
Yeah.
I think that'd be excellent, like Mark was saying. But yeah, I don't see that happening.
Either that or a murder porn book where it's just called Jar Jar Dies, and it's
That
him dying over and over.
Deadpool kills Jar Jar, and
Yes.
it's just
Yes, exactly.
Deadpool jumping through alternate universes in the multiverse.
Yes.
Nice.
It's like Doomsday killing all the Supermans from all the
Yeah.
alternate. Yes.
Nice.
That's exactly it. All right, did you play or watch anything else? Because Daniel is a mushroom that turns into a worse mushroom at midnight, so we gotta hurry.
The not really. I was just catching up on like the Star Wars stuff and just kind of geeking out on that. It's been really good.
So I'll go next, which is unusual for us, but that's okay.
Midnight's like 5 hours away for you guys.
Yeah, well,
You underestimate my power.
yeah, he falls asleep very easy. So I've been playing Fortnite. I've been playing a lot of Fortnite because Mandalorian came to Fortnite, and you can only get the child by getting to level 99. And so it is actually a brand new thing. It's not back bling, it's a pet. It's the first time there's been a pet in the game, and he just floats behind you in the egg as you fight, which is kind of amazing.
Are you there yet?
No. God, no. I'm level 32, 33, no, or maybe 34. I think I just hit 34.
As much as you're playing and you're only 34, yeah, I'm definitely not getting there.
Yeah, well,
Holy cow.
I have not been playing much because of a bunch of other stuff. But Kratos came last week, and then Master Chief dropped tonight. And so that's pretty funny. They have a warthog emote where he's just riding his warthog around. Kind of funny. I have been doing a bunch of work for the site. We've been doing a bunch of CyberPunk Red prep works, character creation episodes. We have one left, Daniel?
We have one left, and hopefully we'll get it in the can next week.
Yep. And then we'll be debuting all those. TBD as to exactly when, because if we're going to start the game when I think we are, we're going to have to launch them somewhat quickly.
I think the week right after Christmas. I think one a day.
One
or
a
two
day.
a day. One a day.
Yeah, one a day. That'd be good. And then I've also been doing unboxing videos for Digipens, D&D figs, and Beetle and Grimm's high-end D&D accessories / accoutrement. Check those out if you have not seen them already. And then I've been playing
DigiPen.
What is Digipen? Glad you asked. Stand by. So, Digipen is actually, and I'll pick the one that Dave would like the most, specifically for this. So, Digipens are they're pins that stand up, and they are of everything. And this one is of the Batman animated series. So it comes in its own case, and it's freestanding, and then it has artwork on the back for the character, and it's pretty cool. There are like a million of them across everything. They have My Hero Academia. They have the original X-Men animated series ones, which I have 3 of. They have Dragon Ball Z. They have Disney stuff. They have video game stuff. What's the name of the villain from My Hero Academia, Matt?
The One for All? Oh no, All for One. I
No,
can
no,
never
no,
keep it straight.
not him. The main. He's the unseen main baddie, but the one with the guy with the
The hand.
hands.
Yeah, I can never remember his name. That dude with the hand on his face.
It's
yeah,
like
that one.
Tohiro or something
Something
like
like
that.
that.
Yeah. Anyways, I've got him. It's pretty good too. So been doing those, and then we just did an unboxing today that has not yet gone to YouTube, but will tonight.
How are they spelled?
Digi, or I'm sorry. I always do that. For some reason, I get Matt's Digimon trapped in my head when I do that. They're called fig pins. Excuse me.
I was
So
wondering.
I didn't want to correct you because I wasn't sure, but I always think Pigpen, like from Peanuts.
Yeah.
And so when you said that, I went, well, maybe I've got it wrong.
No, it's fig pins. FIGPIN.
I was waiting for the digi tie-in, like, okay, and
Yeah,
you
no.
scan them with your webcam, and they
Well,
do something.
when I bought the original ones, I thought that's what they were. I thought it was some kind of online collectible thing with an app, but it turns out they're just cool pins. So they have Jurassic Park ones. They have basically everything you could imagine. They have, and it's kind of crazy. Right. And they're really good, and they're like $12 each, somewhere in that range. So they're not unreasonable. And I got a bunch of them for Christmas because I showed interest. And then I've been playing a little game called CyberPunk 2077, which I will talk about with Daniel after my turn.
I'm jumping in this conversation. Don't. You are not blocking me out of this conversation.
Did you actually play it?
No.
Yeah. So okay. So then I've watched The Voice and Muppets Christmas Carol,
Nice.
and that's it.
Why isn't Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas on Disney Plus?
So that's a very good question,
It is.
because they own it. They own the rights to it. I think it's on the list for the Henson Company to put it in 4K. That's what they're doing with Christmas Carol right now, and they're actually adding back a song that was a lost song back into Christmas Carol that got stripped out when they transferred from VHS to DVD.
See, why
isn't he always on?
I know. That's what I keep asking him, and he's all like, "I don't play video games." I'm like, "You don't have to. There's other stuff."
Yeah, this is the kind of stuff like that was an awesome layup. I was just like, ask a dumb question, get a great answer. Like this is.
And Dave's really good at asking dumb questions.
Very,
so if
very
that's
Seriously.
good. Very
layup-
good. So you've already impressed. I'll turn it over to you, Daniel. What have you been up to?
Okay, so I will try to make it quick. I watched Tenet, which is the new Chris Nolan movie.
Did you like it?
So I did like it. It's very confusing. So I was able to follow it pretty easily, but everybody else in my house was not. It's time travel, and it's time travel done in a different way than I've ever seen it before, which was very, very neat. I don't think I've seen a Chris Nolan film I didn't like. It is Chris Nolan, right? That's the name?
Mhm.
Christopher
Yeah.
Nolan.
Yeah, Christopher Nolan. I don't think I've seen a movie of his that I've disliked in a while, and this is one of the ones I've liked. So there's that. I finished reading Ready Player 2.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I actually bought a copy for my dad because my dad loved the first book and loved the first movie. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to support it. And so I'm going to listen to Will Wheaton on the audiobook. So I bought that book twice.
Oh.
I wish I had bought it -5 times. But it's the tech in it was pretty believable for the stories that they're telling. It is rough. I would say read the Wikipedia.
Wow.
Take your time.
If you had to be reductive and give it a score out of 10, what would you give it?
Like a 2. out of
Oh
10.
wow.
And I am an overly optimistic, hopeful person,
You
and
are.
I would give it a 2. Very seldom do I read a book and go, "Wow, I wish I had my time back."
Now,
Content and
Um,
writing
did you
style
read Armada?
primarily.
I have read Armada. It is, to me, Armada was like if he had written it in high school, I would have believed it.
Yeah.
That's how Armada was for me. And this is, I fully believe that he went, you know, what people really liked from the first one? Nostalgia. And so he packed as much nostalgia as possible in it without worrying about some of the extremely obvious directions it was going and just awful character development.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So overall, like I said, I would save your time and read the Wikipedia. And if you read the Wikipedia and go, you know, I don't think Dan gave this a proper shot, go ahead and find it on the internet for free. Um,
Or libraries. There are these things called libraries. Get books
I'm
mailed
I'm
to you from the library.
I'm hoping that the libraries won't be picking this book up. I've also been. Let me see who's in the room with me. I've also been. I turned my 3D printer on late this year. Usually, I start in November to do Christmas presents and ornaments. I am printing Beskar ingots
Yes.
for my oldest son. I'm going to be putting a puzzle on them to let him know I am granting him or giving him my Mandalorian armor that I've been building for 2 years, 2.5 years. I have a full set of painted Mandalorian armor and everything that goes with it now, and I'm going to be giving it to him, passing it down
Nice.
to him because he's been wanting a set for a while. So I'm making a puzzle that's going to be in Mandalorian on the back of Beskar ingots that I wrap. So he'll have to figure out the puzzle in order to get the present. Um, we've been, like Mark said, I've been doing a lot of prep for CyberPunk Red, which is going to be a live play podcast for the that takes place within Cyberpunk, the world of Cyberpunk 2077, about 30 years prior. And we're actually going to be in a totally different city, located in the re-risen and rebuilt New Orleans. So there is that. Look for that on the channel come soon. And so the reason I don't usually come on the podcast, which will probably change, when you guys had other people on the show, a lot of the story ended up going video games, and I don't get excited about video games. I just don't. I get excited about tabletop games, some card games, board games, but very seldom do I get excited about video games. And I'll circle back to there in a second. Um, I'll probably be on more if conversations like that. But 2077, holy crap. So I've been looking forward to it for a while, just as I'm sure the rest of you guys have. Um, I was looking forward to it so much that I built and Naomi built me a nest around my computer with snacks and water and a heated blanket and pajamas and everything. And this has been my spot. I'm sure it doesn't smell great for since it came out on Wednesday. I was telling Mark I played until about I played and I got a text on my phone that said, "Hey, are you coming to bed? You know, don't are you still up?" And I looked at it and saw the time and went, "Oh, huh, maybe I'm up," because it was 4 in the morning. And so I went and slept for three
Wait, and
hours and then
and
got up.
and to be clear, this is someone who's normally in bed by 8:45, 9 p.m. at the latest.
Yeah, I get to bed early because I usually wake up early, and I am zombified if I'm up past 11. So it was that should definitely tell you how easy it is to fall into this game. The story, the lore, we'll get there. We'll get there. But
No, no,
it's
no.
good.
This is it's the
Oh,
natural transition.
okay. So one of the things, the immersion. So I'm not big on video games usually. VR, I now have 3 VR sets here in the house for different systems because Mark. I went to visit Mark and he was like, "You have to try this. It's really good. The immersion is amazing." And so I put it on. Immersion's amazing. And so now that's kind of part of what I look for in games like this. And man, they hit it out of the park. the voice work, the movements, the motions. A lot of I'll use Watch Dogs Legion
Mm-hmm.
as an example. They have NPCs all over the place in that, and the NPCs use the same skeleton. They all move the exact same way. Their builds might be different, but they all have the same movements. They all have the same motions. If they bump into somebody, they all pretty much do the same blah, and then walk off. This, it's like every, oh, well, not every, but so many characters are dynamic and dressed so differently and have different styles and have different, that it it really kind of builds that feeling that you're actually taking part in this place.
And I think one of the things that, so I'm not going to be the negative Nelly, but I am going to point out things that I have seen, but still does not ruin the experience for me, if that makes sense. They do have some duplication of people. Like you'll see somebody that looks really cool, and then you run into them like 3 feet down the road. So that can be kind of a little jarring, and I've had some graphical issues where, without giving any spoilers away, I'm in the middle of a story where it's a very somber note, very serious note. Someone's supposed to be handing me something, and a gun appears in his hand, and not at a normal gun angle, no less. It's like it's placed in his hand weirdly, and he gives it to me. And he's telling me it's one thing, but I can clearly see it's a gun. And suddenly this really serious moment becomes kind of ridiculous in a way that's over the top. Cars have weird slippage problems, and sometimes they float. And
we have a friend that was saying the same thing happened with trees.
Yeah.
That trees teleported to like 2 feet to the left and then disappeared altogether. And I hadn't thought about the mimicry thing with character profiles, but that's absolutely true with some NPCs.
Yeah.
So especially game member NPCs, I hadn't considered that, but you're right.
But that being said, there are like a couple things. Like first on the PC, the graphical fidelity is nutso. Especially with ray tracing set to Psycho. It's absolutely beautiful. On console, where I'm playing on the PS5, which is the PS4 version, kind of upscaled. It looks fine. It looks okay. But if you look at the base PS4 version, it's apparently pretty crappy in terms of NPC skins and resolution and stuff like that. But again, it's like, for me, I don't care. Because the story is super immersive. It's really well written. They make you care about the characters. And it's not 1,000 fetch quests, right? I haven't felt once where I'm doing a non-story mission, if that makes sense. There's no point in time where the game is broken down and has been like, take this piece of cargo from here to here, and that's your quest. There's never been anything like that I found so far. Even the side quests are all interesting. It's like, instead of protect a person mission where you've got to walk, and protect them, it's dissuade a cop from pursuing their goal because the other dirty cops on the force are going to execute her if she doesn't stop. And so you got to figure out, how do I get to her? How do I do this? So it's always constantly having you think about it in the context of the story, rather than just a mechanic, go here and protect this person, or drive this piece of cargo from here to here.
And a lot of times, those choices will not. So far, a lot of those times, those choices have repercussions.
Yeah.
You will see or will not see characters later based on some of the repercussions of things you said or did. I'll be the one to poo-poo on that, though. While you'll be driving around, and then one of your fixers will give you a mission specific to the area you're driving through. There's also dynamic pop-ups where you need to like stop a crime, and while the flavor of the gangers of the boosters, because they're called boosters, while the flavor of the booster changes, it's almost identical. You go in, kill 5 guys, and then you get some cred. But yeah. Other than and even then, I still haven't. I've been playing for 23 hours, and I haven't gotten bored or upset about any of that type of setting, gameplay, world stuff.
And it should be noted that Daniel actually had a hard crash bug where it was not letting him in the game and deleted an hour and a half of his stuff, and he's still happy about it.
And after I went back and redid it, it just crashed again about 2 hours before the podcast,
Boo.
and I haven't been able to get it back up yet. However, I was still like, my brother, for example, is downloading it on his PS4, and I can't wait to talk to him about it because I'm still, even with the crashes, I'm still.
But at the same time, we have to say no children should ever be allowed to see this or watch this game at all within any kind of visual acuity of a TV screen when this is playing, because full frontal nudity that pops up at times that you can't control. To give you an idea, on my PC playthrough, which I am not broadcasting, I am playing an anatomically correct female. Let's just put it that way. I looked in a mirror and I had no bottom clothes on.
So that's one of the known bugs right now, is that there will be aspects where there is clothing clipping, and it shows everything. I'm not so much worried about nudity. I'll have Game of Thrones up on like my computer stream, watching it with the kids walking through the room. I'm not worried so much about nudity, but I still would have a hard point of them not watching this game at all. There's so much stuff, and
there's so much swearing, including C-bombs and all kinds of it's definitely. And so I'm actually playing the game twice. I've got my PC build for when I'm not streaming, and then when I am streaming, I've got a male character that I have never touched any of the options for anything below the waist, so that way I never get in trouble with that.
Which they have.
Yes, which they
do have.
Multiple choices as well. But if you go and you watch the first stream, I literally am using myself to censor the screen whenever there's nudity, and that's actually why I'm playing ahead on the PC, so that I know where I need to censor it on the Twitch version, because I don't know how people aren't getting banned left and right off Twitch from this game, with Twitch's absolutely no nudity policy and that type of stuff. It's gonna be horrible. Anyways,
and that's with the nudity block.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, because you nudity block your character, doesn't mean that there aren't other characters that just pop up. Suddenly you're at a strip club and there's a hollow dancer there, and it's real. You kind of have to. And my biggest complaint right now is that I had planned, based on what the devs had said, to do basically not a no-kill playthrough. That's not the right phrase. A no direct kill, like where I didn't have to fire a gun. I was going to hack everything. I was going to control the environment. I can confirm that, being where I am in the story, that is 100% impossible.
You can modify most of your weapons to be non-lethal, but there are story elements that still require you to do things, is I think what Mark is saying.
And on top of that, the section I just finished, which I won't name or allude to at all, literally there was no way to sneak, because as soon as you entered an area, all of the personnel knew where you were. Like one of those bad AI things where they immediately know where you are and start shooting at you, even though they haven't seen you or anything to that point. So it made stealth completely impossible in that section. So while I'm a little disappointed in that, I kind of resign myself to just shooting everybody in the face. Actually, that's not true. On the PC version, I'm doing that. Ken is working on a katana blade melee build, and I actually have taken up the katana myself. It's really
sick.
It's really satisfying.
Amazing.
Chopping people's arms and heads off. It's
It's Chrome, Chumba.
Yeah, it's preen. It's preen. We're such nerds. We're using the in-game lingo. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and I think probably the biggest. Can I have a root beer? Yeah, thank you. I think probably the biggest lie is the life paths. I hate to say it, but I really do feel that the life paths, they really don't influence it's how you start the game and it's your background, but beyond that, it seems pretty homogenized beyond that, besides speech choices.
Flavor choices, yeah.
Yeah. I haven't seen
so far.
Yeah, so far. And granted, I'm about with Daniel. I think I'm about 23 hours in.
Which ironically doesn't necessarily say anything.
No, because I'm actually further in the story than you are.
Yeah, I spent probably 10 hours just doing side stuff before I realized I wasn't doing the main mission.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. The first 40 minutes that I spent in the game was staring at a TV screen watching the news. And that's anytime a TV screen is on, I have to point the camera down on the Twitch stream because there are explicit commercials there as well.
Yeah.
What was it? MILF Hunter? MILF?
No.
MILF Cowgirl? MILF Ranger?
MILF Cowgirls, I think. Yeah. They're looking for their stallions. Yeah.
Yes, that is correct. Full nudity in that. I mean, there's it's all over the place.
I think she was wearing 2 50-cent pieces of clothing.
I don't even think she was wearing that. I actually we've all seen how Australia constantly basically bans games with the highest age rating. I don't know if it's banned in Australia, but I'd be really surprised if it wasn't, because man, this is it's got a lot of stuff. But that being said, the builds are diverse. I mean, you can go an all physical build. You can go a heavy hacking and tech build. You can do different things. And it does reward you for using the skills you have. They will increase over time. So if you're constantly hacking, then you'll get extra ability levels in hacking, as well as extra perks in hacking. And that only gets you better and do more things. So,
just to let you know, the game will not be censored in Australia. It got an R18 rating.
Wow.
However, Japan's version will be fairly different. Added underwear to naked characters, revised sexually explicit content, selective revisioning of severed human body parts, spoiler alert, and removal of billboard graffiti-shaped genitals.
But that, so they can only consume that content if their country creates it?
It has to be blurred out.
I'm sure we've all seen enough different types of anime to know that that's not entirely true.
Well, if there's graphic or full nudity, it has to be blurred.
Gonna go with not so much on that, but okay.
It might be because it's being imported. Yeah, I don't know, but that
or
is
because it's not actual drawn style animation, it's realistic animation, or
perhaps.
I don't know.
Weird.
Thank you. So yeah, but yeah, the funny part is that the Japanese actually play a heavy influence in this game. With the Arasaka Corporation, so I'm amused
in the setting as a whole. Yeah,
I'm actually amused that they're basically gonna rewrite the game for Japan. That's kind of interesting. Have you done any brain dances yet, Daniel?
I have only done the brain dance that plot makes you do.
Okay.
I have not gotten the opportunity to do any other brain dances.
But you've done the two that are in the main storyline.
Yes, the tutorial one and the one for the plot, yes.
I don't understand the problems or complaints that people had with it in the original. I thought it was really straightforward. I enjoyed doing it, and it's kind of like Sherlock Holmes detective work.
When they drop it on you that that's what you're going to be doing, I was like, oh wow, I said to myself, I wonder how complicated this is going to be, because it looks like a video editing software.
Mm-hmm.
It is not difficult at all. It's easy to understand. Some of the clues were a little bit harder for me to find, but once I knew what they were looking for, it was super, super easy. So
Well, and I think the
yeah.
thing that I liked the most was that once you played through the entire thing, even if you just fast forwarded through the entire thing, it actually shows you on the timeline where the clues are. So you at least know when you need to look for stuff, and that's something they go through in the tutorial, so it's not really a spoiler. It's very. I think all of the talk about it being complicated, much like the people who said that the bugs on the PC make it game breaking, I don't think it's. I think it's a healthy dose of right down the middle. The important parts are the story good? Is it immersive? Is it well voice acted? And all of those are yes. Does it have bugs? Yes. Can you have performance issues? I'm running on a TI 3080, and I'll tell you that the game was unplayable the first time I loaded it up, and then I had to start mucking with the settings, and 30 minutes later, I had accidentally turned off something that made the performance better, and then by the next day, there was already a here's what you should do for your graphics on Reddit. I managed to grab that, and sure enough, I'm running everything at ultra settings now. I have 4 things turned off, and my game runs at about 35 to 60 frames a second, depending what it is. So it looks really good. There's a petition now because they're using the wrong type of manhole covers that don't support enough weight in the game, and so they're doing a petition to replace those with manhole covers that would be spec. I mean, it's a parody of people saying that the game is broken, and yeah. Does it need to be better graphically for PS4? Probably, or I'll just wait for the native PS5 version. Are you actually going to hold out, Dave, until the PS5 version drops? Because we had this conversation. You had pre-ordered it, but then you actually said no. I'm going to wait till they have the.
Yeah, let them fix all the issues.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad call. Actually,
I have plenty of stuff to to play and everything. It makes sense doing something like that for a game like that. It's ambitious. It's clearly not ready for prime time on the console. I'll wait for the native version. Wait for the one that's actually supposed to be running on the PS5 and fix all the glitches. Maybe it's even going to have some extra content by time it comes out. Who knows?
Yeah, might be able to get it at a discount.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's no reason for me, not to
it's
wait.
free.
I'm not hurting, for content right now.
You did buy the PS4 version, right?
I did not.
I thought. So you did cancel. Okay.
Yeah, I totally canceled the pre-order on it. I was just like, something? I'll wait for the native version.
Because if you buy the PS4, you get it for the reduced price and still get the free PS5 version when it comes out.
But
right?
you know something. I could use that $40 now for Christmas presents. So
fair.
And maybe I'll wait a little bit.
And linked games.
Yes, exactly. That's pretty much where it went to.
I'm guessing neither of you or anyone that has had any problems with the light sequences leading into the dream dance stage.
So I will say I did not have a problem with it, but I could see how people would. That was actually patched today.
Was it?
Yeah, it was actually patched today to slow down the lights, because when it did it, I'm like, oh wow, that's pretty intense.
I did too.
I was like, wow, the immersion's a little too good, I think, for some people, because
it's reading my brain.
Yeah, it was. And if you're not familiar with what we're talking about, there is a section in the game when you go to do this brain dance, which is basically like VR but inside your head, and you put this helmet on, and you can see in your field of vision 2 protrusions that has LED lights on it, and they start flash, 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 and until the screen goes completely white, and it's intense. Like, it is really like I could see why someone had a seizure from it. It was that kind of strong, but they did patch it today to kind of address that. So
Yeah, I know they were working on a patch. I didn't hear that it had dropped. So
yeah, it dropped today about 6 p.m. or 5 or 6 p.m. But yeah, it's kind of. I say that if you are playing the console version, the benefit is you don't have to worry about as many, as many bugs or as many performance issues because it seems to be locked at about 30 frames a second and running pretty well. The reason I say you don't need to worry about as much bugs is because the console version I think is now up to, I don't know how big this latest patch is, but day one patch included was about 110 gigs if I remember right. And yeah, it was
Jeez.
for a PS5. Yeah.
That's the whole hard drive in there.
It's pretty close. But again, you can download it to external, which is what I did. But still, 110 gigs is, that's 1/10 of a 1 terabyte drive, just for one game. It's a lot. But on PC, I think we're sitting at 60 gigs. Does that sound right, Daniel?
Yeah, it's just about right, I think.
So you've got 40 gigs more worth of patches for stuff, which I know isn't exactly 1-to-1, but the point is that they've done a lot more fixing on the consoles because they realize that's the wider market. Although I do want to tackle a quick statistic / news item here, because even though World of Warcraft was the highest selling thing ever, practically, it got kiboshed by CyberPunk.
Oh, really?
Yeah, CyberPunk.
Punked it.
Ah,
Yeah. So they had 1 million concurrent Steam players on launch day, which is always a good sign. But they released the total numbers, which was 8 million pre-orders, and 3.7 million was the World of Warcraft Shadowlands biggest launch day in PC gaming history. Cyberpunk had 8 million pre-orders, and then they gave a breakdown that 59% of that was PC, 41% was console. That means that's 4.72 million PC copies sold. So they're over 1 million units ahead of Shadowlands, even before the purchases on day one. So that's kind of crazy. That was just pre-orders in one day. So, statistics. I'm a nerd. So if you're on the fence about buying it, I would say, if you're into story and immersion and voice acting and the feel of a game, Cyberpunk's great. And CD Projekt Red's stock dropped 29% on launch day. Makes no sense to me whatsoever. I don't get it. I think because of all the negative coverage of the console version of the PS4 and Xbox One console versions, maybe.
Well, there's two things. There's two things that go into that. A part of that was the negative news that was coming out from bugs and glitches and stuff, and maybe a little overreaction to that. Yeah. But also usually that stuff it's also profit taking too. You're getting toward the end of the year, so people are taking some profit. And also, the game is now released. So, all the run up in the stock,
stock was as high as it's going to get, so they sold off.
Sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not they're not sitting there and okay, well, then they're going to realize they're going to rake in all that money after the sales. That doesn't matter. This is stocks. It's a different thing.
So, if you're on a base PS4 and you just... Yeah, Dave says don't. Just wait till you can get a PS5.
Or they magically patch it for the PS4.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's going to happen.
I think there's plenty of people that are going to wait, just like you're waiting for the bugs to be done. They're going to wait for the bugs to be done on the PS5 before getting one.
Yeah.
So that's me. And I wasn't going to wait that long to get Cyberpunk.
Yeah, if you have a PC, I definitely recommend it. It's again, even if you have a mid-range PC, you should be able to run it.
We have a friend who's playing it mid range and he still loves it. Yeah.
So, I have nowhere close to finishing it. I'm probably not going to finish it for a really long time at this rate because I'm.
Well, let's be honest. You're probably never going to finish it.
Ow, Matt.
Ooh.
It was a Merry Christmas to you,
Bam.
and good to see you. This is kind of our probably last one of the season, and that's how you choose to go out. All right, that's
Man,
fine.
when I'm the nice one, you got problems.
Well, you have a history, so there's Mandalorian battle armor. Holy monkeys!
Hi! Hello?
A wild toon monkey appears.
I'm so happy.
Oh,
Dave
I
might
can't
buy him a
believe I made
PS5.
I can't believe I made that. It's snowing over here in Tahoe, and I was trying to rush to get back here so I could get at 7:00, and I was like, nope, traffic everywhere, and I was like, nope, and then I just ran inside, brought all the stuff, walked the dogs, started the fire for the lady. She's studying, and then I was like, poof, here I am. Okay, here I am. Wow.
How are you doing?
Hello. It's crazy but good. Yes. So the internet here is poopy, so I'm using my phone internet. Does everything sound okay?
Yeah,
Everything sounds
it's
great.
good.
Okay, cool. Because that was my only concern, is that the internet here
You've
is
never
poopy.
sounded better.
I got a late night phone call while we were doing recordings yesterday about the Marvel and Star Wars dumps from a certain monkey who asked that I did not say in advance that he was coming tonight.
Yes.
Plus, when he didn't appear at 7, I kind of figured he wasn't coming. So,
Yes. So then I was trying, and I made it work, and I'm so happy. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
so let's finish Cyberpunk and then we'll move on to the other stuff, which is what Turo wants to talk about as well. Any other thoughts on Cyberpunk, Daniel?
I think we covered about everything.
All right. So then we'll move on from there. Also, just FYI, Daniel, I think you need to sign back into XSplit because you've got the watermark in the top left of your screen, like you're using the free version instead of the. Just FYI. So there was news that happened yesterday, and Turo said he noticed he had 34 new notifications on Facebook, and then during the middle of recording these character generation ones, suddenly Matt and Dave started squeeing in our own private chat, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? And they couldn't even form complete sentences. It was so weird.
There's so much.
There's
There
so
was
much.
So much.
So
let's
much.
let's go down the list, and we'll start at the top. We'll start with the Star Wars stuff because I know I am way in the minority here, and we've got all the Star Wars super fans, so we can start with this. So the first thing they said is Patty Jenkins will be directing a live action Rogue One or Rogue Squadron.
God,
Rogue Squadron.
It is Rogue Squadron. Okay,
Yes.
Can Matt take over this part, please?
sure, Matt. I'm telling you, I'm getting skewered tonight. I don't know why. I'm nice to everybody, and
No, it's not that. You can jump back on for the Marvel thing.
It's the Stir Wars. Is that something you guys know? Stir Wars.
Stir Wars. I like my Trekkie Wars. Wow.
Go on, Matt.
It's a Rouge Squadron. I guess it's an all-female pilot.
Oh, okay.
Dressed in red.
We're gonna try this again. All right. So, coming on the success of The Mandalorian, we're having 2 series that are coming to Disney Plus that are going to take place in the same time frame that Mandalorian is taken. One is a direct spin-off, sort of, which is called Ahsoka, which follows Ahsoka Tano. There's a character who was first introduced in Clone Wars, which you heard Dave talking about earlier. If you haven't watched Clone Wars, go ahead, get started. You got some time. And then was recently added into another show, and is getting a spinoff. It is starring Rosario Dawson, who you probably have seen if you watch the Marvel Netflix series. You've definitely seen. And so we don't have a time frame on that yet, but that is one of the things they announced. And with that, they also announced Rangers of the New Republic.
So
No,
real
sorry.
quick on the Ahsoka one,
Yep.
the rumor news or rumor mill has it that she has been signed on for 3 seasons of that show.
Oh wow!
That's her
Nice.
contract. Yeah.
I'd assume it's probably similar format, so we'd be looking at about 24 episodes, probably.
That would be a safe assumption, I think. I think that's the way that most of the shows for the future are going to be.
Yeah. So the other,
Hopefully not with 30-minute episodes. That's all I have to say.
yeah, exactly.
That is killing me a little bit. I really like, but whatever.
Yeah, they don't last as long as you want. Rangers of the New Republic. I have not seen any rumors on this on exactly what this is going to be. My kind of thoughts that this might be the Cara Dune show, but nothing confirmed on that yet. So we're waiting on that one. That again is Rangers of the New Republic and takes place during the same time period as Mandalorian, which is approximately 5 years after Jedi, right, Daniel?
Right about, yeah.
The next one,
I agree. I think it's going to be the Cara Dune show.
Yeah.
Because she's been rocking that character too.
Yeah, she's doing a great job with that. Next was an update on the Rogue One prequel show. Now it's officially called Andor, for Cassian Andor. So he will be the main character, and it will launch in 2022 on Disney Plus. Almost everything they announced on both sides of this line is a Disney Plus thing.
So Mark was telling us on chat yesterday. He was reading off this entire list. I had thought he said Endor, and that was a face palm for me because I was like, "That's
No.
done. Why? Why would we go back? Why?"
No,
We
I
have to have our live action version of the Ewoks animated series. From,
I ran into the same situation. I went to the bar to pick up some beers and to have a little beer share after all the announcements. After I talked to Mark, actually, and then my buddy, he was like, I was like, dude, I can't believe they released so many things. And he's like, yeah, it's like, can you believe they're making a movie about like those teddy bear things? Like, that's so crazy. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, no, my buddy said that they were making Endor, and that's where the teddy bear, the things are. And I was like, no,
wait, so this is not a series about the Ewoks?
That's what he thought. And he was like, I mean, it's cool they made a kid show, but that's weird. And I'm like, oh my god, oh no, oh
Wait,
no.
Isn't Andor where Princess Leia is from?
Oh boy! Somebody mute him, please.
So nothing's changed. Okay.
No, not at all. We're all too old. We don't change anymore. So we finally officially have our announcement, formal announcement also for the Obi-Wan. It's actually called Obi-Wan Kenobi is the full title of the show. The surprise nugget there, we all thought Hayden Christensen might be returning for a different project, but oh no, he is going to resume the role as Darth Vader because he is Darth Vader at the end of Revenge of the Sith in the suit. It's James Earl Jones's voice. So he is going to make an appearance as Darth Vader. Up against Ewan McGregor, and this is set smack dab in the middle of the gap between episode 3 and 4. So about 10 years in, there's a 20-year gap between episode 3 and 4. So this is right smack dab in the middle.
And I think filming has picked up in London for that.
Yeah, they did start filming in London on that one. Yep. So it's underway. It's real. It's going to be here.
That's probably the biggest one I'm stoked for coming up, and part of that is for the episode from Rebels that has Obi-Wan.
Yeah, toward the end.
Yep.
Yeah.
That cartoon was way better than it should have been.
Yeah. Oh, that was amazing. it was really amazing.
Like, I got worried when they started like shoehorning characters into that show, and I'm like, no, don't do this. Don't do the fan service thing. And then like by the end of it, I'm just like, this was awesome. This was awesome.
I was really worried about Rebels at the beginning, and by the end of it, I
Yeah.
still didn't like the stiff hair animation style, but it was okay. It didn't matter
whatever.
anymore.
97 announcements.
97 announcements.
Jesus.
I'm just saying we have 97
I
announcents.
know. To go
Okay.
through. Yes, I know. The next
Hey,
one
Daniel,
was
come to more of these, but we can't talk.
Fine. You're the one who was like, hey, I got to be out of here by a certain time. So I'm like, all right, I'll keep it moving.
we talked about the final season of Clone Wars, which came, what was it, 5 years after Clone Wars ended. That was on Netflix recently. And on there, we had a soft pilot for the Bad Bunch, which was
Bad
shortly
Batch.
Bad Batch.
Bad
Who's
Batch.
the one not paying attention now?
Even
I knew it was the Bad Batch.
3x
I did
speed
it.
of Mark.
I was
3x
testing.
speed of Mark.
I was testing you guys.
Easy Ted Cruz
Bad
beard.
Batch.
Easy Ted Cruz beard.
I've been trapped in this house for so long. Okay, go.
So the Bad Batch, which if you did watch the season, you know who that is. If you didn't, this is a sequel to the last season of Clone Wars. It takes place primarily during right after the fall of the Republic and the rise of the Empire. And that'll be coming soon. They didn't give an exact date, but I'm guessing it's going to start in 2021, but they didn't actually put a date on that. Also, Disney Plus. Also coming to Disney Plus is Star Wars Visions, which is a series of original animated short films celebrating Star Wars through the lens of the world's best Japanese anime creators, coming in 2021 to Disney Plus.
Which I'm actually excited about that one.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's
because
gonna
it sounds like the Animatrix is what it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
All I'm thinking of. Do you remember that project that somebody did a little while ago where it was just basically like a dogfight, but it was like done in kind of like an animation style, and I think it was like basically someone's like resume, like they were just trying to like show off and do something cool.
Project for something. Yeah.
Like I want to see more stuff like that, just like crazy takes on stuff and just like like really like Mark said, like the Animatrix thing, which was just a project I loved. I mean, even the ones that didn't work so well, was just interesting to see like the different takes on that kind of stuff. And that's what I really love about all these announcements. It is like we're getting to see like a lot of like the different sides. There's so many stories in this universe that can be told.
Yeah, they did a Darth Vader series called Dark Visions. It was a 5-issue series last year, and it's similar, where it's like each issue is its own thing, and they're all just these weird, trippy, like different takes on stuff.
Pretty neat though.
I
did not expect to like them.
They was way better than it, as I've been saying a lot.
Bad Batch, the kind of sideways door Clone War was in Clone Wars and Rebels. Well, it wasn't in Rebels, but both of those shows are available on Disney Plus right now. Yes. That's answering the question.
Okay. Yes, they are, and watch them. I think not Rebellion. Resistance is on there. You can skip that one. Not really important.
Yeah. Oof.
If you like that pilot feel, but that one is definitely one of the ones I feel that was made for kids.
It was, but then they tried to set this with real serious stuff, and the tone was just lost.
It wasn't even made for kids. I tried to show my kid that one, and he was bored.
The question is, are Clone Wars also on Disney Plus?
Yes, and they are cartoons. Yeah.
Yeah, all of Clone Wars, including the pilot movie, which is separate. So if you have to watch the pilot movie independently first, and then you can go into the series.
Yeah.
Wait, the
non-canon.
There was a Clone Wars movie done in the same animation
with the baby hut.
That was the first one with Ahsoka. When you start the actual Clone Wars series, Ahsoka is already a Padawan. Spoiler alert, I guess. But the movie was the first one, and it was a long episode of the cartoon show.
With the baby hut, though, that was
it's a long pilot, is
with
what it
the
is.
hutlet.
Yeah, it was kind of awful.
What they don't have, which I'm kind of curious about, is they don't have the two Samurai Jack animation studio animated shorts that came out in between episodes 1 and 2 and 2 and 3
on how Anakin became a knight. And I
Yeah.
thought those were really well done as well. That
Those
surprised
were.
me. Yeah.
The fact that those aren't on there is really weird to me. Okay, anyway, back to the announcements. We're getting a Lando Calrissian series. Still no word on whether it is or is not going to be the Lando that was established in Solo or not. The actor.
It has to be him. It has to be.
I would
Donald
assume
Glover. Yeah, I don't see
it's-
him in much of stuff, so it has to be.
I'm guessing he'll come back for it, but again, that's in pre-production, no date.
Hey, Donald Glover, here's giant piles of money. You sure you don't want to do this?
But he was also just so good in
He
that.
did the voice so well. I could not
Yeah,
believe that
it
that
was
was
really
not
good.
modified.
He
just
nailed it.
nailed that.
He was my favorite thing of that entire movie.
Oh yeah, he's
Sorry,
Yeah,
friend of the show,
that's okay.
Pat. The effects were good, but he was better.
I love that movie. I really, really love that movie. Leslie Headland, who I have no idea who that is, but is going to be working on a Disney Plus series called The Acolyte, which is going to be a mystery thriller. Wow, mystery thriller set at the end of the High Republic. The High Republic is a series that they're doing. They're doing a series of the height of the Jedi and the height of the Old Republic. It's a cross media series, so this is kind of the end of that. Lucasfilm Animation.
I have one more thing on that actually.
Yep.
So the High Republic is so it's going to take place thousands of years before the movies, but it's a huge Disney's pushing this huge multimedia event. Have you guys talked about it yet?
No.
Okay, huge multimedia event with cartoons, live action shows, movies, comic books, action figures, the whole 9 yards, like a full Disney press, right? You have all of the creativity and money-making power of Disney being pushed on a totally new era for Star Wars that they're trying to jump from the start. So while George Lucas had kind of a hand in some of the stuff that's been made since the prequels, this will be completely their own people, with Filoni, of course, because he's the MF man. When it comes to Star Wars trivia and knowing what he's doing, but they're kind of coming at this whole thing, and they're starting it, I think, in January. So comic books, novels, kids comic books, cartoons, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, it is a full court press, and it's going to be crazy, and hopefully they can pull it off. I mean, they got a good record so far, so we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah.
So A Droid Story is the next thing, is another Disney Plus, I believe it's a movie, adventure film, where R2-D2 and C-3PO will introduce and guide a new hero through an epic story.
Wait, we didn't get to talk about the one that I was actually excited about. The Acolyte to me, the Acolyte to me is the one that sounds the most interesting out of this list to me, because I really like mystery thrillers, and it is really hard to say, by the way, mystery thrillers. And
mystery thrillers.
Yes.
Mystery thrillers.
You've heard us screw it up 3 times, so you knew it was going to be easy for you to do. But yeah, I actually, especially since I know nothing about the High Republic era, like, I think that's probably their plan to be not your father's Star Wars, to bring in a whole new generation, or casuals like me who don't want the baggage of all of the movies and all of the extended universe books and all that kind of stuff, even though that's all not canon anyway. I know that much. But still, you get the idea, right? I can watch this and not know anything about it other than it's a mystery thriller, and I'd be like, cool. As long as I learn the people that are in here, that's all I need to know.
I think that's one of the big reasons that they came up with this idea, to push this idea, is that for fans, it is a whole new sector, a whole new age era that we haven't seen before. And it'll have a whole bunch of stuff. And then when they want to do fan service, they can throw in a last name, a familiar last name, or a familiar planet, or a familiar alien race that maybe we haven't seen very often. And it won't be distracting for you, who barely gives Star Wars a second glance, but folks that are deeply into this, they'll be like, oh, and then I've got 2 of my 3 that are obsessed with Star Wars, and this gives them a Star Wars that they can grow up with. And that's why I'm excited about it, because Disney...
Star Wars is a Star Wars they can grow up with. Let's just put that there right now.
That's a fair point, but they're behind the curve on that already, and the stuff that I want them to get into is all expanded universe. I like the stuff they've done, but to me, some of the best stories we have are expanded universe. Oh, that was the other thing. I just picked up the new Thrawn book. I didn't put that at the beginning. Sorry.
I haven't
There's-
read they've got them all
How-
sitting here. I haven't even started the first one yet.
They're very good, and they're all Timothy Zahn.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I got to get into those because I was about to pull the trigger on that the other week, and I was just like, oh, I'm reading
So-
Dune again.
This is Daniel's realistic ad for those books. If you have any interest at all in anything and can read, buy those books.
Well, Timothy Zahn is a very good writer. He writes very understandably and very well. So yeah, it's yeah. I'd say
Hey,
that-
we have a lot to think. I don't think Timothy Zahn gets the credit he deserves.
He created Thrawn
Well, yes, there's that, and I will always love him for that.
and single-handedly brought Star Wars back into the limelight. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes,
Mhm.
like when there was
Yeah.
nothing, there was the Timothy Zahn books.
I was walking through a Shopko and saw this book sitting on a table in the late '90s, and I just
We are
I was
angering Mark
flabbergasted.
so much right now.
You're not angering me. You're not angering me. I'm just like 82 more.
Yeah, I know.
What the heck is a Thrawn?
I don't know, but it's okay. This is how Matt
Well,
feels when we're talking wrestling, so it's okay.
Yes,
I'm allowed.
I only get to
this
do
is
this
my-
once
yeah,
every year.
Exactly.
so
This is my
yeah,
episode
yeah,
for the
yeah.
year. It's fine.
Yeah,
This is Mark's Christmas present. To
Yeah.
there you
us.
go. Yeah, too bad.
Exactly.
Okay.
Merry Christmas, guys.
So, and then as a weird aside, just because I'm just following the Twitter feed, really is all what I'm doing right now. But they re-announced the Warwick Davis led Willow TV series or show coming to Disney Plus.
Well,
John M. Chu is
So-
directing the.
So I think I'm probably that's the second most exciting thing to me, only because
very
John
interesting.
Chu does very good, in my opinion, movies and treatments, and I'm actually interested to see. Now it does specifically say that the pilot is only directed
yeah.
by him, but still, I'm very interested to see that.
No, I am as too. I mean, I've actually got the written trilogy sequel to Willow sitting over there in that bookshelf, and
I don't
I'm
know
one
what
of
that
like 5
means.
people I know that have read that.
I may need to get with you on that. I've never heard of that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I just got with some people a couple months back and played the 1984 release of the board game.
Oh, yeah. I've never played that. I know it exists, but I've never played it.
He mentioned it, and I was like, yeah, sure. He'd probably have 2 pieces. He had all of the pieces, and they were in really good shape. It surprised the ever-loving crap out of me, and it played just like the movie. Okay, I'm done.
No, you're good. You're good.
But
The interesting thing for Mark is that sequel
Uh-oh.
trilogy is written by Chris Claremont.
Really?
No kidding.
Really?
Yeah,
That's-
based on a concept by George Lucas.
Huh.
Huh.
And George Lucas is really good at concepts.
Back then he was.
I don't know. Have
Back
you
then he
seen
was.
episode 1 through 3? Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, he's not
Well,
good
this
at
is
writing.
Or
He's
episode
good
1,
at
2, 3.
concepts.
This was way back when. Okay, and then also Indiana Jones is getting a 5th and final installment. James Mangold is the director, and Harrison Ford will star.
So wait. I need. What's the over under on Shia LaBeouf appearing in this one?
Oh, he won't. I guarantee he won't.
So you think young Indy with Shia LaBeouf is dead? Or young Indy Indy 2 with Shia
Or he's
LaBeouf?
off being young Indy somewhere else.
Yeah. Okay.
Not denying that he could have a spin-off series maybe later, but I don't know. This one was news to me. I have no idea what this is, but it's in the middle of the Star Wars stuff. They're doing an adaptation of a book called Children of Blood and Bone, which I've never heard of before, but they're putting it into a series or a movie, 26. Wow, with 20th Century Studios. Coming of age adventure follows a young African girl's quest to restore magic to her forsaken people, the Magi. Sounds interesting. I'll look for more for that. And then the thing that probably made Dave's brain completely explode.
He wasn't even. It's not that he wasn't speaking in full sentences. It's that the words were not making sense that he was typing. Like it was tai tai pai tai, and that's literally what he was writing in the freaking chat. And I'm like, are you having a stroke? Are you okay?
Okay, I've heard this a dozen times and I still cannot pronounce his name, but Taika Waititi,
Waititi.
something like that,
Taika Waititi.
is getting an unidentified Star Wars feature film.
Yeah.
That should be enough to get one excited.
It's just,
And then we get back
it's
to where
gonna
you
be
started.
awesome.
Yeah,
Did you see his Twitter announcement about it? He was just like,
No.
I can't wait to ruin something I love so much. I'm paraphrasing, but he basically said, he goes, I can't wait to ruin something I love so much.
Oh my gosh.
Like he's just setting it up to like troll people like right away with it.
But
You
his
know,
Mandalorian episodes are amazing.
Right, but the thing is, like, man, he's got such a great touch for this stuff. And you could tell he like cares about it, but he's got a new spin, and it's going to be fun. And that's what I'm really looking forward to. It's going to be fun.
Is it
And,
any
like,
theories what it could be?
No, nobody knows anything.
Oh man.
Nothing.
I'm guessing
We
new
got
era.
nothing.
Yeah,
I'm thinking way past.
Yeah.
There's people hoping that it is a High Republic movie,
Oh,
so that he has free reign.
yeah.
Huh.
I wasn't even thinking that he would get a High Republic thing.
That's what a lot of people are hoping.
It makes
Yeah.
sense though.
Yeah.
I would say it's got to be new era because you can't put him in. Well, okay, they did with Thor and it worked, but
That's what I'm thinking. Like as soon
but
as
then
he
yes,
said,
where Mark.
What's that?
As soon as you said
What?
no, I was just going to close up, but then Dave had one more thought.
oh no,
okay.
like as soon as he said like the High Republic, I was thinking like how Thor looked at everything, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, oh yeah, damn, that would
Yeah.
probably work.
That would work. And then we end up where we started with Patty Jenkins, who you might know as a director of a few little films out there, is getting a Rogue Squadron movie. Don't know the time frame though, so I don't know if it's Galactic Civil War time frame or if it's a Rogue Squadron that gets formed up later or what. It has a T-65 X-wing emblem, so that kind of indicates Civil War era. But I don't. Daniel, have you heard anything?
So
Certain?
before Rogue One, I would have said it had to be New Republic era, like the time period right now we're seeing with Mandalorian. And being that I've read so many of the Rogue Squadron books and played so much of the games, I would love to see a movie that takes place there. But with more and more of the New Republic being seen in Mandalorian, a lot of people think that her movie is going to take place in the now that we're
In
seeing
that
in live
period.
action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense too. So, all right, Mark. we're done.
My opinion is I don't care what era it is. I just want to see awesome X-wings.
Amen to that.
Super capable. Her little hype reel. Did you watch that?
Yeah.
Where she was talking about her dad who was a pilot and she's out there watching it and she's in the speed and stuff like that. I'm like, this is the right person for the job. Like this is
Yeah.
going to be awesome.
I think it's and then I think that's gonna everything they announced there isn't a dud. The only potential dud I see here is the droids thing, but that's just because we know so little about it. But even if that doesn't work out or a droid story, I think of Droids, the animated Saturday morning cartoon. When I see that,
That's what's keeping me from being excited about it. That it's going to be just like something.
something awesome. Yeah. And then Mandalorian, one more week, and then if you've been waiting for the whole thing to come out, you can slam it all down in fairly short order. And it's
That's
been
me.
pretty frippin' amazing. There was a reveal at the end of 3 episodes ago, and I said, "Holy crap, those look like." And then the next episode, when they actually dropped that as the name of the thing, I about squeed because I never thought that would ever in a million years get referenced again. And it did.
It was something that we saw in the expanded universe and comic books and stuff like that I never expected. So that's amazing. I agree. Totally agree.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious if we're going to find out more
that.
about it because I know there's been some different versions of that. So, and I know like people are saying they're like all one thing, but I think they're kind of like more of a mashup of the different ideas.
Yeah. It's definitely not purely the thing that they were originally introduced as, but
Yeah.
Okay, we
Yeah.
have
Anyway,
we have
but that's about
basically
that. Anyway, yes, Marvel
30
Studios,
minutes
go.
to do Marvel, and which is going to be hard pressed.
We'll spend 30 minutes on WandaVision.
Yeah, pretty much. And I have to say that I thought that release of information from Star Wars, which came first, was mighty aggressive by Disney as a whole. Like that's a lot of information.
That all came out in like
10
2 minutes.
Yeah, it was like 2 to 10 minutes, and I'm like,
Well,
holy
also,
crap!
keep in mind what this actually was. This was an investors conference.
Right,
Yeah.
which I
So
didn't
this is
know
like-
at the time that's what was going
Yeah,
on.
this isn't just like, hey, let's make some nerd happen. Yeah, this was an investors conference. This is like, hey, everybody, we're about to bankrupt our, amusement parks.
Yeah,
This is what we're spending your money on.
Yeah, here's
right.
how we plan to make you money in the next few years. And they're like, wait till you see the nerds freak out over Twitter. That's our income.
yeah, and that worked because the nerds
Yeah.
started freaking out with Star Wars, and then Marvel had their info dump, and it started with Loki, which we now know is basically going to be, for all intents and purposes, basically Quantum Leap with Loki, which I
Yep.
am so down for.
I was
that
thinking
cannot,
more Exiles, but yeah.
It's just the same difference. Exiles, Quantum Leap, it's the same thing. Yeah, so I'm totally down with this. Gives Loki a chance to be, the star of the show. Ties directly into the MCU. I'm completely good. I was excited with that. Coming May 2021, which we didn't know, which is not that far away. Then they talked about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier starts streaming March 19th.
Awesome new
on-
trailer.
New trailer on Disney Plus for that as
Yeah,
well.
that was a good one.
Then we had the announcement of Captain Marvel 2, which is again reiterated further down the feed.
The best thing about can I say the best thing about Captain Marvel 2?
Yeah.
All those, this stupid hate campaign against like Brie Larson and everything, and everybody's like, there's so many news articles saying that like, Disney's replacing her, they hate her and everything like that. The whole like internet rampage against her is hilarious, and I just love that that's not actually happening, and these people just got to shut up.
Yeah. No, I thought she did a fine job. I thought the script could have been a little bit better, to give her more of personality. But then again, at the same time, if you remember, where she is at in her career, she was pretty much a blank slate. So what are you supposed to do? She's playing an amnesiac, so it's fine. It was fine for me. I think it's fine for most people. Just a vocal minority. Jeremy Renner returning to star as Hawkeye with Hawkeye Kate Bishop, played by Haley Steinfeld.
Yes.
Don't-
That show's going to be something special. I just have a feeling in my gut that show is really going to be something special.
They're using the logo from the comic series.
Yep.
Yeah, that probably helps.
Yep.
But the thing is, like, that Hawkeye is not the Hawkeye in the thing, but like I'm hoping that they kind of make it so.
Well, they allude to a lot in the MCU that is off camera for Clint. So I think they easily could tell those stories as that character. And this is his family mellow self now, but they could do flashbacks and stuff like that. I
need Putty Arrow Bro. I need, Putty Arrow Bro. I need
Lucky's in
Hawkeye.
it, so
so like I have, man. If they
the only weird thing is there'll be no jokes about the fact that her costume doesn't have hips. Because in the comics, the hips are cut out of the costume, so her hips are actually sticking out, and they like make jokes about that constantly.
Hopefully they include the Jersey jokes too.
Probably will.
I'll be happy if they do that.
So fourth time's the charm? Question mark face. Fantastic Four.
Hey, they got a heck of a director for it.
It's
John
home.
Watts.
It came home.
It did come home.
Yeah, so I was gonna say this is the Marvel team making Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
This is
with the
different.
guy who directed the 2 Spider-Man movies so far doing it. So
yeah, I'm down with it. I really think that it there is value in the Fantastic Four, and that they have stories that could be told well. It just hasn't until this point, and so I'm hoping. But then the question becomes: do you do reboot? Do you just? I don't know what you do for that, because it's not like anyone doesn't know their story. But at the same time, I'm excited to see what they do. I hope it leads to Surfer and Galactus. That's all I have to say.
I do not want Doom.
I do not want Doom either.
I think they're going to save
Yeah.
Doom. I think Doom's going to be after the big bad that we're going to probably talk about in a second.
I mean, if they start out with something else and then eventually they start, making a regular check of the world and they end up in Latveria on kind of a Doom patrol, I'd be good with that. Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Nice.
Ant-Man and the Wasp 3, called Quantum Mania, was announced. Paul Rudd, Evangeline Lilly, Michael Douglas, and Michelle Pfeiffer all returning. And then we're also getting Cassie Lang and Kang the Conqueror, which pretty much does confirm that Kang is going to be the
Main big bag.
big bad,
big bad.
for
The phase
phase
villain,
5.
right?
Yes, for phase 5.
And did you see who they're getting to play him?
Yes, it's
The
Jonathan
dude that was
Majors.
just the dude that was just in oh my god, the HBO show, the horror show, Lovecraft, Lovecraft County.
Lovecraftian.
Oh, the main character?
Yeah,
Oh, that's awesome.
he was awesome. So
That's
that is
awesome.
Oh,
I need to watch that.
Christian Bale, who is suing Warner Brothers for releasing his movies on HBO Max,
wow.
which I don't. So it's not just him. It's actually there's a bunch of directors and actors all getting together to sue Warner Brothers because that was not part of their contracts, and their payouts are based on movie ticket sales. And if you
that's why.
if you suddenly start showing them on a paid service that you get no consideration for whatsoever, they get cranky. So, which is I think is actually a real thing. So it'll be interesting to see. But Christian Bale will be joining Thor: Love and Thunder as Gore the God Butcher. And I would have normally said, really, they're gonna do Gore the God Butcher? That would be like trying to make a movie out of Guardians of the Galaxy. But they did it, so I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt.
It just means that this movie is going to be very interesting.
It will be very, very interesting.
And that's 2022.
That is May 6th, 2022. Meanwhile, Baby Groot will star in a series of shorts on Disney Plus called I Am Groot, an original series from Marvel Studios, which everybody loves dancing Baby Groot. So sure.
Did you ever see Disney Plus had they had a bunch of shorts for like Rocket and Groot already on there.
No, I will have
Really?
to
No.
find that.
You didn't see these? There's like a short, like they're literally like a minute long. Like it's like a series of they're like 2 minutes long each. Look for them on there. They're in the.
Oh
they're
no! You know what? I did remember hearing about them. They were between Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and just before 2, right?
They're like little one-off adventures.
Okay.
With them. There's nothing.
With Teen Groot though, right?
Yeah, and now I'm starting to think, am I mixing it up with something else? We'll get back to that. I might be mixing it up with something else.
Whoops.
Yeah.
I might be mashing the Guardians of the Galaxy cartoon with something else.
Drogodan says that 4 in the Fantastic Four looks like an Avengers A. I'd be just fine with that if they somehow tie Avengers into Fantastic Four.
I would be better with that.
Yeah, I'd be super good with that. James Gunn back to write and direct the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, which will air in 2022 on Disney Plus.
Where they
Dunge.
travel to Andor.
Wait, the place with all the Ewoks?
Yeah.
Yeah. You joke, but they could actually do that.
They could now.
Especially
And then
if,
Serenity drops from the sky.
oh god, I would have an orgasm. I'm sorry. Right down to there. Don Cheadle returning as James Rhodes, aka War Machine, in Armor Wars, an original
Well,
series.
Freaked
Coming
out on that one.
to
I did
Disney
not
Plus.
expect to hear that.
Yeah.
I'm super excited about that actually.
So, do you think that's going to be a live action or a cartoon?
No, I think it'll be a live action.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think
Cool.
oh, you make a good point though.
Yep.
That could be
They've done that a couple times where they had the voice actors come back, or the actors come back to play voice acting, and Armor Wars with the what is entailed in that. That's pretty big budget. If they did it as a cartoon, it would be faster and less expensive.
Yep. And that does not have a date on it.
I'm fine either way.
Yeah.
Also, Dave was right. There is a 12-episode series, 3 minutes apiece, of Rocket and Groot. Appears to be non-related to either the cartoon or the movie series.
Cool.
It's called Rocket and Groot.
All right. One of the most surprising ones to me is Dominique Thorne Ironheart. Riri Williams is playing who she's playing, Ironheart, which is basically the creator of the most advanced armor for Iron Man.
Now, did they say if that's going to be animated or live?
They did
I
not.
want it to be live, and I want them to shuffle it into the universe. But
Yeah.
I'm afraid it's going to be a cartoon.
We've never seen something with the Marvel Studios label on it that is strictly animated, have we?
Yeah. No.
Like, I have a feeling that one's live.
I'm
would think it
hoping
would
these
be.
are all live.
Because, I mean, she
personally.
was the fill-in Iron Man while Iron Man was dead for
Yep.
a while.
Yep, before he got better.
Which was what I was hoping they were going to do once we found out the end of Endgame.
Right.
I was hope they were going to bring her in.
Yeah.
So I'm super stoked.
I'd be very happy with that. Samuel L. Jackson is back as Nick Fury. Ben Mendelsohn from Captain Marvel returns as Talos.
That was actually the biggest one for me. I really think that's going to be the most fun show.
Secret Invasion. I think it's going to be a fun show too. I do not think this will be serious at all. I
Buddy
think
cop?
it will be buddy cop, Samuel L. Jackson and Ben Mendelsohn buddy cop movie. I am so down for that.
Yes.
So down for that. And then I have a couple people I knew that just like squeezed their hearts out. Moon Knight, an original series about a complex vigilante coming to Disney Plus. How are they going to make him not crazy Batman? I
think Isaac, right?
Yeah, Oscar Isaac.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Oscar Isaac.
Yeah.
Who we know is Poe Dameron.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's perfect for that role too.
He's got amazing acting chops.
And then, of course, we knew She-Hulk was coming, but they reiterated it and gave us no, they didn't give us a date on that one. Tim Roth returning as the Abomination.
Yeah, that's the first
Ooh.
validation of the whole Incredible Hulk
Mark Ruffalo.
long
Yep.
time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I figure Ruffalo will probably only appear in the pilot in flashbacks.
Oh
as they do her origin story. But I'm also very much hoping that in the flashback, when he's done giving her the transfusion and they resolve whatever it is the first time she transforms, he walks off onto the highway and they play the Bill Bixby.
Oh my!
That's what I'm really hoping that they do that. That would be amazing. Captain Marvel 2 will be in theaters November 11th, 2022. And
Happy
then
birthday to me.
they also announced that Ms. Marvel will be appearing as an original series.
Miss Marvel, right?
No, Ms.
No, it's
Marvel.
Ms.
Ms.
It's
Marvel.
Ms. Marvel.
Okay.
She'll be not only appearing in her own original series, but she will be in Captain Marvel 2 as well.
Cool.
Along with
That implies that her original series will be live action, right?
it is.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
The actress playing Monica Rambeau in Vision or WandaVision will also be in Captain Marvel too.
That is correct. And if I was a betting man, I think this will be the first time we see Rogue
In Miss Marvel?
in Captain Marvel 2.
Oh, ooh.
Oh.
Huh.
Because that would...
I would say Stinger at best.
Right. No, I'm not expecting like huge exposition or anything like that. But I think that's where I would bet that that's going to happen. And then they announced that they just wrapped production for Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. I am super excited about this movie. If you thought Mulan was a good kung fu movie, this is going to be supreme.
Oh yeah, I mean, this is a totally different thing, but yeah, it'll be.
Yeah.
It should be pretty awesome. I was just impressed that Mulan live action was actually good, and it was a pretty good kung fu movie.
And probably the one that I squeed for the hardest, because it is one of my favorite comic books of all time, Marvel's What If is going to be an animated series. Come on, golden oldie.
Freaking Mark. I think that the What If series tied into the multiverse with the Multiverse of Madness is amazing. I'm hoping that it ends with either a Watcher or the Crystal Palace,
the
so that we
Watchers.
get
The Watcher's right in the thing.
and we get exiles from it.
And to answer your question before, this is the only Marvel Studios animated series that has the Marvel Studios imprint on it so far. So it is possible.
So it is possible. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But we got Captain Britain, which Captain Britain plays very much into the X-Men. We have all kinds of stuff in here. And, man, I would kill to see the Unipower and Golden Oldie. Yes, please. That's all I got to say. And for those of you that have no idea what I'm talking about, the Unipower is basically this cosmic force that makes anyone super powerful in a time of need, and it possesses Aunt May, and she becomes the Golden Oldie. It's fantastic. But yeah, I'm super interested in this one. Even though it's the MCU's version of What If, it looks like they have Marvel Zombies in it, so I'm all about this.
I did see that.
Yeah, that got me excited.
And I think that's everything on the list, other than Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness will be coming out March 25th, 2022.
I want that movie so much,
I
so
know.
hard. I need
And
it
it's
so much.
tied into Spider-Man 3 and
yes.
WandaVision.
Yeah.
And I need it. I need the answers, because I know that movie I think is going to provide so many answers that's going to like open up all the other doors for everything else.
And Dave, I know
I want it to.
I know you're sad about The Mandalorian, but WandaVision starts January 15th on Disney Plus.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
I'm super
That show, that show is looking like it's going to kind of melt brains.
So
I just want her. I just want whatever to fall through, and then her to say, "Oh, the mutants."
Yes, that's exactly where I was going. That's exactly where I was going. That's what's going to happen. I want there to be more people like me, and so it'll be the polar opposite of the comic book, where instead of
which is
erasing,
she'll spawn mutants.
She'll spawn all the mutants. I cannot. I don't see how they can't do it.
An anti-House of M?
An anti-House of M.
Wow.
No, I would say it is actually a House of M.
Yeah, it's actually a House of M. Yeah. Good point. Good point.
There was one bit they slipped in the middle of all this. It kind of was unrelated, but Noel Hawley getting an Aliens TV show.
Oh yeah.
So
right.
I was wondering if we were going to talk about that. I love xenomorphs. Like this is my little buddy, my little computer buddy. You can't see him.
Nice.
It's a face hugger. But I'm excited to see what turns out, because they've been trying to get one running for a long time, and now that we have a alien queen as a Disney princess.
Yep.
So, but they got that, but also like just who's running the show. I am just
Yeah.
like before, if you would have said like, oh, somebody's going to take like aliens and like, put it on Earth. And I'm like, no. And then they announced who it was doing it. And I was just like, yeah.
So, a question asked in chat is there a chronological order for all of the Star Wars stuff on Disney Plus? As chronological as in canon timeline chronological, or chronological as in when it was actually released?
Isn't there a section that tells you that actually has them organized like that?
The movies, and I don't think it has the TV shows.
Yeah.
Okay, because they had because I just saw something on the when I was looking. I went to watch a Marvel movie,
So
and they had the Marvel stuff. All
at the
set
very end of this episode, we can really quickly run through a chronological order.
Yeah, that's actually going to be helpful, because I asked, did you mean this or that? And his response was yes. So
Well, if you want to know the order everything was released in, just look at the release date.
no, I think he means.
But this causes arguments, because when there's a chronological order, and then there's like the order you actually should watch stuff.
But I think the person who's making the comment is more talking about when they should watch cartoons, if they were watching it by timeline, so that they're not getting lost. Like where the cartoons are in the movie order.
Yeah, that would make sense. But even that's tough, because stuff jumps around sometimes.
And that's part of the conversation we'll have to have at the end. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, this is a tough conversation.
So, Daniel, I'm going to leave that for your final thought for the show. And so that we end sometime close to time, that's going to bring us to final thoughts. Final thoughts is where we give our final parting thoughts for the day. But first, I do want to thank all of our Patreon supporters and our Twitch supporters, and remind you that you can also support the show by clicking the subscribe button on Twitch, and then become one of our rock stars. Or you can head over to YouTube, and you can subscribe, and make sure you hit the bell notification so that you get updated every time we upload new content, which is Monday through Friday. Or you can head to patreon.com/Gamersledge, where you can get your name on every single show that we do for as little as $1 a month, just like the folks that we are about to thank scrolling through the screen on our screens, our Patreon and Twitch producers. So thank you to each and every single one of you as that scrolls by. And that's going to bring us then to Matt, final thoughts for the week.
Final thoughts is, I can't believe I have not read King in Black issue 1 yet. Driving me nuts. It's sitting in a bag over there waiting for me to read it. So that's this weekend.
It's so good.
I know what happens, and it's so good.
It's so good.
Yeah, I mean, Donnie Cates has really only had one misstep, I would say, since he's taken over Venom, and that was super minor. So I'm really stoked for it. I'm glad to see Stegman back on pencils. I've been kind of, I mean, they've had good artists on Venom, but I miss Ryan's pencils. So that'll be good to get him back in the flow of things. So yeah. Unfortunately, there's 12 gajillion tie-ins. I don't know if I'll get them all or not, but yeah, I'm excited to get this thing started.
Dave, final thoughts.
We skipped over probably the biggest Disney announcement.
We did.
The prequel to Toy Story. Chris Evans starring as Lightyear.
Is that a legit thing? Is this real? I saw that and I thought, okay, so somebody's spoofing all the announcements. Is this really a thing?
That's real. That's real.
Why wouldn't they get Tim Allen?
It's like some kind of I think it's like they're taking a legit take on like the first year of like Cadet Lightyear.
I think it's in canon him. It's not him as a toy. It's in the story of Buzz Lightyear canon.
Yeah, it's him as a ranger starting out.
But it's animated, right?
It's animated.
Okay. All right.
And
They
Chris
did have
Evans
a cartoon for a while.
But voiced by
So yeah, I think that's probably going to be way better than it should be.
Okay. Turo, final thoughts.
Sorry, just got attacked by dogs. Final thoughts. I'm glad I was able to make it. Oh, dogs. Brain's still broken from all the announcements, and the only way that I can fix it is just playing CyberPunk. or try to. Yeah, if you can play Cyberpunk, go do it. It's fun, but it's broken, but it's gonna be fun later. Yay, Destiny again.
Destiny.
So my final thought is something we didn't get to in the news, and that is that Sephiroth has been confirmed for Smash Brothers, and my brain kind of melted. And when that is the smallest story of the week, then you know there's other stuff going on.
Yeah, we
Jeez.
didn't touch any of the Game Awards stuff. I guess tip of the hat to Last of Us Part 2 for doing nearly a clean sweep of all the categories it was listed in. So
Wow.
Yeah. There was not a whole lot else. Final Fantasy 1-2, I think 7 Remake won Best RPG and Best Music, I think. And that was about it. The rest, pretty much everything else went to Last of Us 2.
Best art direction and the fan voted one went to Ghost.
Ghost of Tsushima, yeah.
And No Man's Sky. Talk about success stories of things.
Continuing
that started off
ongoing
roughy.
game.
Ongoing game got the award for that. So
And some of those updates have been amazing.
yeah, they have.
Then that brings us then to Daniel's final thought.
So it's I'm gonna mimic something that somebody was saying in the chat. Driving is awful.
Yeah,
Cyberpunk.
driving
Cyberpunk
is
2077. Driving is absolutely awful.
It is Watch Dogs Legion all over again. Because Watch Dogs Legion is exactly literally I got in the car for the first time. I'm like, oh my god, they just ripped it from Watch Dogs Legions.
And while the character creator does allow you to make some specific people, like a friend of mine actually made himself and it looks a lot like him, it still doesn't have as many options as would be expected for a game coming out today.
So my biggest complaint about that too is I wanted a character that had blue hair. And when I went to the character creation, I could do blue to black gradient, and that was or pale blue, and that was as close as I could get. Yet walking down the street, I can see people with friggin' blue hair, and it really makes me mad. Why do we have a palette of 15 colors when there is this thing called a color wheel? Why are we being restricted in that way? That is something I agree with.
Okay, so my other final thought is going to be the chronological order of the cartoons and TV shows. If I missed something, please let me know, guys, because I'm sure I missed something. But I have episode 1, and keep in mind that some of the cartoons have episodes that land outside of the normal time frame. But episode 1, episode 2, then the Samurai Jack cartoons for Clone Wars, and then the Clone Wars movie, which is animated, computer animated, then the Clone Wars show, all the way up through the last season right now, then and some of those episodes are out of time order as well. Then you have Rebels. Rebels, one of the
episode 3, then Rebels. You were throwing the movies in there too, weren't you?
I have episode 3. Yep. Okay, I skipped over it right here, but yeah. Episode 3, then Rebels, except for the last episode of Rebels, which is farther down the list. And then Solo, and then Rogue One, and then episode 4. Yeah, and then episode 4, episode 5, episode 6. And I think we have a couple episodes of things that fall in between there, I think.
Yeah, but Ewoks Adventures.
Ewoks Adventures, stuff like that. And then you've got...
Very important.
He didn't forget.
And then you've got Mando. And then, but between episode 6 and 7, you have like 30-something years. So there's a lot of gray area in there that they haven't really fleshed out. They fleshed out in a couple of really awful novels, but I think Resistance, the cartoon, plays between Mando and episode 7.
It starts right before episode 7 and then overlays
and
corresponding with 7 and 8.
Also, we think that the last episode of Rebels falls between Mando, like somewhere right in the same time frame as Mando, but we're not sure when, because they haven't been very specific. And then you have episodes 7, 8, and 9. So that is the how I would watch them if I was going to watch them in chronological order.
Yeah, you'd actually want to watch episode 7 before you watch Resistance, Because otherwise Resistance will spoil things from episode 7 if you haven't seen
Does
episode 7.
Resistance take place after, or does it just have spoilers?
It takes place before and during. So the
Okay.
major event that happens in 7 is
Yep.
seen in Resistance.
Okay, there you go. So watch them both on 2 screens at the same time.
Perfect.
And that's pretty much my final thought. If I were
Wait, did you say episode 8 and 9?
yeah,
Oh,
7,
okay.
8, and then 8 and 9. I said it really fast because
Okay.
really you shouldn't watch them.
Oh,
I'm just
wow.
kidding. They're not that awful. They're awful. They're just not that awful.
You and I
one
need
last.
to debate 8 sometime. Because I love 8. I love 8.
You made me
I
throw
know
up in
you're
my
not.
mouth a little bit right there.
I don't get the hate. I'm sorry.
Hang out after and we'll chat. But because Cyberpunk, what my suggestion would be if you want to play this game, and it is a very good game, especially if you're going to play it on PC, because I'm a PC person. And again, I'm not a video game player a lot. I would wait 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I would wait 2 weeks
Completely fair.
to buy the game so that they have time to adjust some of the bug stuff, because a lot of the stuff that I've been having bugs with, to me, are early game bugs. They're not game breaking. They're not, other than the crashes I'm experiencing literally right now. It's stuff that I fully think that they will have fixed within the next 2 weeks. So that would be my suggestion. Buy it, but buy it in 2 weeks.
And that will bring us to the end of the show, where we leave you with a sage piece of wisdom
No,
to carry you
time.
through
Can't-
to
we took
Out
too
of
much
time.
the
Out of
next
time.
time that we get
Too long.
together.
Can't do it.
Hey,
doing this.
hey, Turo.
Oh, hey, what's up?
Oh, dude, why are you gonna do that to him? You want him to ever show up again? Come on.
What do you call it when one cow spies on another?
One cow spies on another. It's a Is it bovine? No, I don't know.
A stakeout.
Oh, god damn it.
I thought it was going to be a movie.
See, now you're getting into the spirit. Until next time, game on.
Game on.
Game on.
Yeah.
He's so sad about it.
Ugh.
Oh wow, let's see the whole thing.